Hello everyone, my name is Marigold Kobna and today I'll be helping you fill out the personality inventory for DSM-5, the adult form. There is also a short form which has only 100 items, but then this long form has 220 items. This form is a self-report form which assesses pathological personality traits of clients. So before you begin, you have to take the name of the client with the ID, their age, the sex, and then the date. So there's a few instructions here for the client, but this side is supposed to be used by the clinician only. So since this is a self-report form, the client can, if the client is capable of reading, then the client will be able to fill out these sites themselves. But then this side is supposed to be used by the clinician only. So each of the items recalls like activities that the client may or situations that the client may experience each day. So after the client is done rating the experiences, then the clinician would have to score each of the items. So for instance, item 1, the client rated this experience as 0, so you write 0. Item 2, the client rated it as 1, and so on. So when you come down, after the items, after all 220 items, when you scroll down, you find these instructions. So what step 1 says is that you have to reverse the scores on the items here. So you have to reverse the scores on 7, 30, 35, etc. So what they mean by reverse is that 3 becomes 0, 2 becomes 1, and 1 becomes 2. So for instance, 7 and let's do 7 and 30 together. So for 7 and 30, the client scored 3. But instead of writing 3, you would have to write 0. Remember, it's one of the items that demands reverse scores. And so 3 becomes 0. And 30 is also one of the items that demands reverse scoring. So 30, the client, let's just say the client scored 2. So if the client scored 2 for 30, then it means the reverse score for 2 is going to be 1. Remember, 0 becomes 3, 3 becomes 0, 1 becomes 2, and 2 becomes 1 for the reverse scores. So after finishing step 1 by recording the raw scores and reversing the necessary item scores, you need to come to step 2. Step 2 is requesting you to compute the personality trait facets using this table. So the facet scores table, this table here, contains column A to E. Column A has all 25 personality trait facets. Column B contains the PID-5 items, which adds up to each of the personality traits. And column C contains the total partial raw facet score. So to find the total or the raw facet score, you need to add the item scores. Yeah, so you need to add each item score. So for anhedonia, after adding the items like 3, 2, 1, 0, etc., I had 15. For anxiousness, I had 27. Remember, some of the items have reverse scores, so you need to maintain the reverse score when adding the necessary scores for each of the personality traits. So for anhedonia, I realized that the client did not respond to item 189. So the client did not respond to one item in anhedonia. And so instead of it being a total raw facet score, it is a partial raw facet score because of the missing item score. So because of the anhedonia having a partial instead of a total score, I'll have to find the prorated raw facet score. In finding the prorated raw facet score, I had to multiply 8 by 15 and divide it by 7. I will explain. So the 8 is the number of items in anhedonia. So anhedonia contains 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 items. That's the 8 here. 15, or the partial raw facet score, by the number of items in the column here. And then you divide the answer by the actual items recorded. So the client, as I said, omitted only 1, and so the actual number is 7. So I had 17. Always be mindful that you need to record only the whole number. So you don't need to record the decimals. You need to round it up to the nearest whole number. And to find the average facet score, I had to use the prorated raw facet score because this number is wrong, because it's not the total, it's actually the partial. And so I had to use the prorated raw facet score to find the average. You find the average by dividing the number of items in each of the columns for each of the personality trait facets by the total or the prorated raw facet score. So for instance, for anxiousness, I had the actual total score here. So the client answered all the items. And so all I had to do was to use this total score and divide it by the number of items, which is 9. So I had 3. So you do this for all the other personality traits. And whenever you have a decimal, just run it up to the nearest whole number. So step 3 requires you to compute the personality trait domain using the domain table below. This is the domain table. This is the domain table. So column A has the domains, these items here, and then B has the personality trait that contributes to each of the domains. C has the average, the total facet score, which we'll later find, and then D has the overall average facet score. So to find the total average facet score for negative affect, you need to take notice of emotional liabilities average, anxiousness average, and separation insecurities average from this table here. So emotional liability here, the average was 2, anxiousness average was 3, and separation insecurities average was 3. So when you add them, you get 8. So to find the D column, all you need to do is to use this 8, or the answer from column C, and you divide it by the number of items here. So the number of items is 1, 2, 3, it's 3, and so you do 8 divided by 3, and you get 2.6. But as I said, you need to run it to the nearest whole number, which is 3. So for the client, based on the average 3, it just shows that the client has a high or often experiences negative affect. If the client had scored 3 for detachment, then it will show that the client often experiences detachment due to the personality traits of withdrawal, anhedonia, and intimacy avoidance. If you don't understand the steps I took in this video, there is instructions below the form. These instructions will explain things better for you. Thank you for watching. Bye.